Some lucky people have the kind of amicable, mutual breakups where you stay friends afterwards and occasionally go for frosty chocolate milkshakes. But for many folks, running into a former boyfriend or girlfriend is more awkward than a T-Rex trying to take a selfie.
Elena Fisher, last year's model.
That's cute.
If you're in the latter group, maybe it's some small consolation that even video game characters aren't safe from this awkwardness. They too know how cringy it can be stumbling into their ex under less than ideal circumstances.
Thought we had something, Shepard. Something real.
With no further ado, prepare to sympathy cringe for these poor protagonists in 7 unenviably awkward encounters with an ex. Beware spoilers for these games.
What's your update from Colonel Flagg?
He said, "Why are you bothering me?" And I said, "Because my ex-wife is a pain in it." Where are you going?
The Mortal Kombat series isn't what you would call a romantic setting for people to fall in love, what with all the acid pits, and flaming hell ninjas, and people ripping out each other's spines. In fact, if you're looking to win somebody's heart, you'd better hope Kano hasn't got to them first. Nevertheless, somehow, against this deeply unromantic backdrop, we find out at the start of Mortal Kombat X that Special Forces operative and Lycra enthusiast Sonya Blade managed to find love with action movie superstar Johnny Cage. Not sure what she saw in him myself. Maybe it was that he'd punched everyone else in the groin, and he was the only option left. The game then jumps forward 20 years and we discover that in the intervening time, Johnny and Sonya married, but then divorced and are no longer together. They had a daughter together though, Cassie, and there's no doubting she's Johnny's kid. Look at that moveset. So far, so happy ending if you ask us, because Sonya is frankly better off without Johnny, who, as I think we've firmly established, is the worst.
We could get back together, you know.
Once was punishment enough.
Such a bitch.
However, as two of only a handful of supernatural martial arts masters in the world, they're forced back into working together due to kung fu treachery involving an amulet, the fate of the world, and elder gods, I think. It's hard to keep track, what with all the kung fu treachery.
Could you and Mr. Cage join us? Sergeant Cage, you and your team as you were.
Anyway, fans of loveless PASAG sniping are in for a treat as Johnny and Sonya are forced into working together for the good of the planet, in a situation that has got to be unbelievably awkward for the rest of these Special Forces soldiers who have to stand around and watch it.
This is what split us up in the first place.
Sonya, ever the professional, tries to keep things civil, but I think we mentioned Johnny is the worst.
Never time for me and Cassie.
I had responsibilities. Sorry you couldn't be the center of attention.
There was a time when you cared more about your family than your job. General.
Yes, turns out the reason they broke up is because Sonya was too dedicated to her work, which, I should remind you, is keeping the planet safe. Johnny's work, for the record, was starring in movies like Ninja Mime.
Ninja Mime was awesome!
Yeah, I rocked it.
Anyway, long story short, this seems justified.
Whoa, hey, don't shoot.
Hey! Nate? What the hell are you doing here? Jeff, don't!
If there's anything more heinous than running into your ex, it's running into your ex-girlfriend at the same time as your current girlfriend, and also you're all in a war zone.
Wait, you know this guy?
Yeah. This is Drake.
Oh.
That is the unfortunate scenario in which half-tucking adventurer Nathan Drake finds himself in Uncharted 2, when he chances upon journalist ex-girlfriend Elena Fisher.
So, what's your angle on all this misery? You gonna plunder a few temples, loot the museum?
It's nice to see you two.
For context, prior to this encounter, Nate had just begun to rekindle his relationship with fellow adventurer Chloe Fraser.
Hello. Well, so much for foreplay.
This is unbeknownst to Nathan Drake's jerk friend Harry Flynn, who is Chloe's current partner in business, and probably more than business, who can say?
If it makes you feel any better, my relationship with Flynn is strictly professional.
Really?
Mostly professional.
Oh.
In the words of Chloe's Facebook status, it's complicated. Cut back to the ravaged Nepalese city of Kathmandu, and Chloe runs up and into the mix with Elena and Nate.
I think I lost them.
Oh, whoa, it's all right, Chloe. They're
Journalists.
And so, the stage is set for one of the all-time most awkward encounters in a city under fire by a war criminal and his mercenaries.
I'm sorry, am I sensing some history here?
Oh, Elena Fisher. Last year's model.
That's cute.
If there's anything less fun than your current girlfriend and ex-girlfriend meeting each other in a war-torn metropolis, it's being the unlucky cameraman Jeff who Elena brought along to film the war crimes and who is the fourth wheel in this awkward scenario.
Oh, we don't need saving, Nate.
Thank you.
Poor Jeff hasn't even smooched one of these three hotties,
Is it always like this with him?
Pretty much.
but nevertheless dutifully tags along just for the privilege of getting shot and incapacitated.
We better keep moving.
He's hit.
I'm okay. Let me see.
Which must be especially galling to Jeff given he just saw Nathan Drake get shot, I estimate 400 times on the way here.
Pretty good shot for a journalist.
As if things couldn't get any more socially tense in this situation, look out, here's fifth wheel Harry Flynn. 5 wheels? I'm no car expert, but that sounds like too many.
Sorry.
Drop the guns. Seriously.
Harry Flynn is especially unwelcome because by this point it's turned out that Harry Flynn is not Nate's jerk friend after all, but just a straight up jerk who is in league with the war criminal. Well, at least it takes the focus off Jeff for a while.
Did you carry him all the way from the temple? Shame.
Well, at least we're back to just 4 wheels.
What have I done?
Poor Lucas from Indigo Prophecy is having a rough old time of it. The world is about to be plunged into a supernatural ice age, he's just discovered he's guilty of a murder that he has no memory of committing, and he has to complete a quick time event to do even pretty basic tasks, like climbing very slowly over a chain link fence for example. Must have skipped leg day, and arm day. To be fair, Lucas has been having a difficult month even before the game begins. He and his girlfriend of 2 years, Tiffany, split up a few weeks before the story kicks off, and worst of all, she still hasn't swung by his apartment to pick up all of her stuff. So we get to experience the entire excruciating interaction for ourselves.
Want something to drink? I think there's still a bottle of gin laying around in the kitchen somewhere if you want.
Look, he's even walking awkwardly, although that might just be how he's animated. Deftly negotiate the conversation, either because you're a tremendously empathetic, emotional thinker, or you're following a walkthrough guide to get the romance achievement, and some of the old warmth between the couple starts to come back.
Hey, I miss you, you know?
I miss you too.
And in a move that will throw that one guitar guy at every single house party ever into a jealous rage, Tiffany actually asks Lucas to pick up his 6-string and play her a tune.
Play a couple of notes for me, will you? You know, in memory of the good times.
That's the least realistic thing in this entire game, and this is a game that has an old lady who turns out to be the internet.
You're committing a fatal error, Lucas. I'm going to have to eliminate you.
Mess up the guitar-playing QTE by ham-fistedly clanging your way through a middle-of-the-road rock ballad, and things come crashing back to reality.
Well, I'm gonna go.
Much more realistic.
I need you to get the crew onto the evac shuttles. I'll take care of Joker. Commander! Caden, go! Now. Aye, aye.
You know how it goes. Sometimes you get killed in a space explosion, get resurrected by a shadowy cabal, spend 2 years in a resurrection coma, then when you pop out of it, you forget to call your space boyfriend to tell him you're still alive. We've all been there.
You don't have time to wait around, Shepard. Grab your weapon and arm. This pistol doesn't have a thermal clip.
Which makes it so relatably cringeworthy when Commander Shepard in Mass Effect 2 runs into her Game 1 romancee, Kaidan Alenko, on the remote colony world of Horizon for an epically awkward reunion.
You're some type of big alliance hero.
Commander Shepard, captain of the Normandy, the first human Spectre, savior of the Citadel. You're in the presence of a legend, Delan. And a ghost.
Oh, I knew there was something I meant to do.
I thought you were dead, Shepard. We all did.
Even an awkward hug can't save Shepard from the social embarrassment over having ghosted her now presumably ex-boyfriend harder than anyone has ever ghosted anyone in human history by becoming an actual ghost.
You don't sound too happy to see me. Something bothering you, Caden?
Yeah, something's bothering me. I spent the past 2 years believing you were dead. Thought we had something, Shepard. Something real. I loved you.
Wow, Caden, see, the thing about that is...
Why didn't you try to contact me? Why didn't you let me know you were alive?
Is this a good time to tell you I'm also working for the Shadowy Cabal?
You're with Cerberus now.
That's a no, is it?
Cerberus and I want the same thing. To save our colonies. That doesn't mean I answer to them.
Do you really believe that? Or is that just what Cerberus wants you to think?
The only thing that could make this confrontation more awkward is having your best friend standing right there, silently judging your romantic choices up to this point, which Garrus is doing right now.
Damn it, Caden. You're so focused on Cerberus that you're ignoring the real threat.
All in all, it's a real dumpster fire of modern dating, and a good reason to have Cerberus cybernetically reconstruct your face to look like somebody else when you're getting resurrected.
I can see you won't listen to reason.
You show up after 2 years and tell me you're working with Cerberus. What does reason figure into any of this? You've changed.
That's right, I've changed. I'm now 84% cyborg parts. Caden? Caden? Oh, you're walking away. I see.
Joker, send the shuttle to pick us up. I've had enough of this colony.
Yeah, at least I learned something from all this.
What's that?
How to deal with frustration, disappointment, and irritating cynicism.
That sounds like something my husband would say.
The love story between wannabe pirate Guybrush Threepwood and Melee Island Governor Elaine Marley in the first Monkey Island is a tale as old as time. Boy breaks into girl's house, boy is nearly murdered, boy meets girl, boy says a bunch of unintelligible gibberish. My parents met the same way. By the end of the game, after you vanquish the villainous ghost pirate LeChuck, Guybrush and Elaine are starting to look pretty cozy under the fireworks his exploding body is making in the Caribbean night sky. Super romantic, as long as nothing wet lands on you.
You know, LeChuck was a deviant, obnoxious, slithery, creepy, crawly sort of a guy, but I'll say one thing for him.
What's that?
He sure looks nice exploding against the night sky.
Yes, it's very romantic.
It's clear by Monkey Island 2, however, that things didn't pan out quite as romantically as they might have done, and not all of that can be down to the fact that Guybrush has attempted to grow a beard that he definitely isn't pulling off.
I'm old enough. Look at my beard.
Ha! That's the oldest trick in the book!
At this point in the game, Guybrush is searching for 4 pieces of a legendary treasure map, one of which is located on Booty Island in the Governor's Mansion. When he gets there, Guybrush discovers that Elaine is the Governor in question, having moved here for a new job to get away from him. And her opinion hasn't mellowed over time, judging by her dog.
She named her dog Guybrush?
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's not much of a name if you ask me. She says it's 'cause he's dumb and helpless and keeps getting in the way.
So begins an awkward reunion between these two ex-lovebirds where Guybrush is, for story reasons, dressed in an off-the-shoulder ball gown very much made for someone else. The fact that Guybrush's get-up doesn't make things any more awkward than they already are should give you some idea of how this encounter goes.
It's destiny, honeycakes.
Don't talk to me.
Snugglepuss.
Get lost.
Hunky Doodle.
I'm warning you.
Pooper Duper.
Maybe I should go rake the back 40.
What's even worse is that you don't end up getting the map thanks to some spectacularly poor conversation choices from Guybrush.
If the map's all you care about.
Yes, Elaine throws the map out of the window where it catches the wind and flies off to a different part of the island with a whole new set of puzzles stopping you from getting to it, some involving that dog, which is definitely not going to fit in your pockets, Guybrush.
Okay, dog. You're coming with me.
Or, okay, I stand corrected. Man, I hope Elaine didn't see that.
The security booth's secure. Need a palm print to get in.
Any clue about what happened to the guards will be inside. Is there a way to override the lock?
Not without a guard's hand.
As if constantly having to save New York from supervillains as Spider-Man wasn't stressful enough, Peter Parker also has to negotiate awkward encounters with not one, but 2 exes during the Spider-Man game on PS4. First, there's Mary Jane, who broke up with him 6 months ago and really knows how to make a casual dinner date as uncomfortable as possible.
Why did you ask me here, Pete?
You know, just dinner between friends.
Friends. Is that what we are?
Well, maybe we could be, if that's what you wanted.
There's a lot of baggage here.
But just as things start looking up with MJ, in the game's Heist DLC, Spidey bumps into another former squeeze.
Yeah, I am gonna have to call you right back.
Why? What's going on?
You look good.
That's Black Cat, who, if you aren't familiar with the character, is like Catwoman, except she's exactly like Catwoman.
You mess with the cat, you get the claws.
And just like Catwoman, Black Cat has had an on-again, off-again relationship with the hero of the piece, which is a source of enormous angst for otherwise goody two-shoes Spider-Man.
So, you swinging solo now? Or back with your ex?
That's a lot of questions.
On the one hand, Black Cat is a criminal cat burglar who should be put behind bars for her many felonies. But on the other hand, Your Honor, Spider-Man fancies her. The defense rests.
What's on that drive?
Not entirely sure, to be honest.
Then why are you stealing it?
If I don't, they'll kill my son.
Wait, your son? Damn it. Felicia has a son? Can't be. I mean, it could be, and I could be. No. I'm not gonna think about that right now.
More awkward still, Peter has to come to terms with the horrifying realization that not only could he be a father at the tender age of 23, but that he might have missed some of the very earliest years of his child's life.
About your son, is there a chance I'm...
Later. For now, let's find him. When he's safe, we can talk about that. Keep in touch, Spider.
Also, the horrifying realization that there might be a child out there who is 1/2 human, 1/4 spider, and 1/4 cat. At least I think that's how genetics work. No, you failed high school biology. Peter has to spend the rest of the DLC grappling not just with the local hoodlums, but with the prospect of meeting his offspring for the first time. At least until the end, where Black Cat does that thing criminals do and double-crosses him.
So, the kidnapping? Your son? That was all just a lie?
Lie is such an ugly word. I prefer misdirection.
But hey, at least Manhattan isn't going to be terrorised by a 60-foot-tall spider cat with laser beam eyes. Still not super clear on the whole genetics thing, I'll be honest.
Lady Comstock, how lovely to see you. Wonderful of you to make the journey, especially considering your painful death 19 years ago.
Okay, I know we put Bioshock Infinite in the spoiler warning earlier, but I really want to stress just how hard I'm going to spoil this game. It'd be like if this list was titled The One Worst Father of Luke Skywalker, and I started talking about Darth Vader. Okay, still here? Good. Right, so this is going to take some explaining, but in Bioshock Infinite you play as Booker DeWitt, a private detective who travels to a floating sky city full of racists in order to kidnap a woman who turns out to be his daughter. He then goes on to have a fabulously awkward encounter with his ex-wife, who he's never met. Also, she's a ghost.
Not here to hurt you.
Who are you?
You see, Booker sold his daughter when she was just a baby to a version of himself from another dimension who had taken the name Zachary Hale Comstock and was unable to have kids of his own. This was down to him becoming infertile due to spending too long standing with his crotch near dimensional tears, which is the genuine in-game explanation for why he has to steal Booker's kid. I know, right?
That's something you'd want gracing a resume.
Anyway, in this alternate universe, Booker, now going by the name Comstock, had a wife, Lady Comstock, who wasn't in on the whole interdimensional kidnap plan, and as such, made the entirely reasonable assumption that this new baby was the result of her husband having an affair instead of a quantum baby from beyond reality. And so this alternate dimensional Booker had his wife killed. Nice guy.
He begs my silence, but I can only offer him forgiveness. But with repentance, need come truth.
All of this is a roundabout way of saying that in Bioshock Infinite you play as someone who is fundamentally identical to Lady Comstock's ex-husband who had her killed. This makes running into her again pretty awkward, especially considering that she's now a furious ghost hell-bent on revenge against you, and the woman she thinks is your illegitimate daughter, who you brought with you to the reunion, so that's fun.
Elizabeth, why is your mother a ghost?
Great question, Booker, and yet another one in Bioshock Infinite to which the answer is quantums and parallel universes and etc.
Like us all.
Lady Comstock exists across time.
She's both alive and dead.
She perceives being both.
She finds this condition disagreeable.
The point is, it's going to take a lot more than a heartfelt apology, a nice meal out, and an explanation that actually you weren't even in the dimension at the time to smooth this over, especially now the ghostly Lady C can resurrect dead enemies. And shatter your shields with her banshee shrieking. Eventually, the whole situation is resolved by Elizabeth and Lady Comstock talking it out, while you, Booker, stand around like a lemon, presumably trying to look as little like Zachary Hale Comstock as you can, while you think about how much of a jerk you've been in other dimensions.
We must forgive each other. Because there's one far worse than you or I.
Probably not the time to say hashtag not all bookers, I'm thinking.
That's your lot for today, friends. I've been Jane, this has been Outside Xbox, and these have been 7 awkward encounters with your protagonist's ex that made us cringe so hard we cringed ourselves clean in half. Thanks for watching, hope you had a good time, and if you're up for some more good times, why not watch this video from Outside Xbox, one of our latest? It's pretty good. And also this one from Outside Extra. They've been doing lots of fun stuff in Animal Crossing New Horizons lately, and you should definitely go and check it out if you're into fun, cute stuff. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.